Review, Jamaica Premier League players. We can't forget the sponsors, of course, Daniel.
Not at all.
It is a day I think of a lot of expectancy. Everything that we've seen here so far leads to us to believe that we're going to be in store for much more goals, much more action, and a lot of great football. Again, I keep on forgetting my manners. My name, Leger Williams. I'm joined by Daniel Bent. Of course, it's a pleasure to always be with you, Daniel. And first of all, I have to ask you your opinion. How are you feeling after those first legs?
We talk about a Waterhouse Cavalier. It is a match made in heaven. Always cross-on derby between two Kingston teams. They have been at it for many years. And then the Portmore derby, Racing Portmore United, is always one that you can say that persons can always look forward to. I'm thinking Portmore United will be disappointed having led 3-0. Racing coming back to win, to draw 3-3. And even Waterhouse will feel hard done based on the fact that they would have drawn as well the Cavalier 2-2.
So how do you feel going into these second legs now, seeing that both teams would have relinquished heavy or large leads? Do you think that now plays into the psyche of the other teams, and do you think the momentum has shifted in both of the ties?
Yes, I think there's an opportunity for another upset. I think Cavalier having come back from 2 goals down to draw 2-2, and Racing coming from 3 goals down to draw 3-3. They are in the ascendancy to even go on to win this tie.
And that's very interesting. I'm not quite sure I agree with you 100% because I do think that the quality and the shift, and it's a new day. The second legs are a new day, and it's not often when you look through the history of both of these fixtures that we see this many goals.
Yeah.
The goals may have come from unusual places at times, but for most part, especially in that Portmore Racing game, you saw Ronaldo Robinson coming to the fore, Mikael Ellis coming to the fore, but for the Cavalier game, it was a new star that came to the fore in terms of Kimberly Scott. How good is he, as action is looking to come right to us at this point? How good is he, Kimberly Scott, and what have you made of his impact at such a young age?
Kimberly is a raw talent, a diamond in the rough. I've been tracking his progress from Vauxhall High School all the way to Excelsior when he won the Money Cup this year, along with his partner in crime, his captain, Williams. Kimberly has so many facets to his game that is very impressive. Speed, his technical ability, his ability to be so short, be able to jump so high, to head. So he has a heart. He's very hungry, and I think if he's remain consistent, he starts today again, based on his performance that would have gone on Sunday's game. I think there is more that we can expect from him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets on the score sheet or provides an assist within the game.
And at this age level, the senior level, we've seen what he can do at youth level. Of course, a former, I want to say urban area leading goal scorer. He was in the Manning Cup leading goal scorer. Then went on the season after winning the Manning Cup. And we see the youth shining once more for Cavalier, but it hasn't all been positive for them. Jamar Gordon was in goal for that first game, 16 years of age, also from Excelsior High School. He was susceptible, I think, for a couple mistakes in that game, but in the second half especially, he was fantastic.
And the overall product and the DNA of what Cavalier has been doing over the years, where they continue to blood young talent, as long as you're good enough, you will play. 15, 16, 14, doesn't matter. You will play. And I think that overall brand that Cavalier has brought to the league, led by the technical director, Rudolph Speed, it has paid dividends over the years. As you have seen, a lot of young players would have passed through Cavalier and went on to higher heights. But on the flip side, looking at Waterhouse, they too have a lot of quality. 2-time champions, they still know that there's quality. But they have always been the bride, but never the bride. And I think this season, they have been very consistent, especially with the change of coach from Marcel Gay to Javier Einstein. There's much more to come from this Waterhouse team.
And when you think about, especially from a Waterhouse perspective, you're much closer to the Waterhouse side of things. As you mentioned, they're usually the bridesmaid. 5 times more than any other team, they have come second in the Jamaica Premier League. What do they need to do tonight or this evening to get the better of this Cavalier team?
In a regular season, they would have scored 18 times in the first half. Scoring twice in the first leg of the quarterfinals would have made it 20 times. Waterhouse would have scored in the first half. Second half, they would have scored 22 times. That equates to 40 goals overall throughout the season. So yes, they can start well, but they can also finish well. Cavalier, on the other hand, would have scored 15 goals in the first half and 30 goals in the second half. So they are a finisher team. So for Waterhouse to get a claim all 3 points and move on to the semi-finals, a hurdle goal and maintaining it, because we would have seen in the second half that poor game management in the second half would have cost them that 2-0 lead for this leg.
Yeah, and that's a very good point.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of improvement from a Waterhouse perspective ever since their head coach Javier Einstein came into play, and we're going to speak to him very soon, as a matter of fact. Javier Einstein, I think he has come in, he has stabilized this Waterhouse team, and we see the clean sheets that they've had, the points they've accrued, and he's going to come into frame very shortly, and we're going to have some questions. I know you have a lot of questions for him as well, in particular. And quickly before he comes into frame, this coach, Javier Einstein, do you think he can lead Waterhouse to a title? That's the first question I have to ask.
He's a hard taskmaster. So he has brought a freshness of discipline within the team, within the squad. And I think based on that, he has propelled the team to be a very structured team, a very organized team, and I think he has the magic wand to make Waterhouse win.
Well, our analyst here says yes, you have all the magic, coach. What magic are you planning to produce tonight to give your team, the Waterhouse team, an advantage over Cavalier?
Okay, good evening for everybody first. We're trying to give happiness to our fans, to give a good match for everybody that is here on the National Stadium watching the match. And today the changes to trying to be a little more offensive with Javan Bryan from the start, and it's a good news or a good notice for us. They come back to Colorado Murray today for the bench, but is little by little coming back. And maybe we changed the formation. The last match we play 5-3-2. Today more likely is a 3-4-3, and we try to get the semi-final. It's not a secret. It's our objective for today to win the match, and it's the same for Cavaliers. Both teams are trying to do the same, but with different styles of play.
And Coach, one thing that has been a mainstay in your how you coach, you always have an halftime change. Would you say that in the first leg on Sunday, did it affect the overall outcome of the game based on from your perspective?
But the changes always I do similar changes on the halftime. I know that is the opinion of the people. But we're trying to change the one number 6 and two number 8 for two number 6, and one number 10 was an offensive change with Mario Sims. If Mario with his shot of mid-distance scored, we are talking about another thing. But okay, we got a tie, and okay, maybe wasn't good or not, but the problem in the last part of the first half, between the lines, was solved, okay? But maybe wasn't our best night on the back, but with these 3 center backs, we are here on the playoff because they play so good all the season.
I agree with you, coach, and all the best tonight. We'll be speaking to you after the game as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, coach, no problem.
Yeah, that was head coach Javier Einstein of Waterhouse. Before we speak to the Cavalier side of things, what did you make of his comments tactically, of course?
He has to go for it, because I mean in the game we would have seen that Cavalier would have moved from a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-4-3, and I didn't think Waterhouse adjusted quite well to that. Now we are joined by the man himself, an assistant coach, David Laylor. Mr. Laylor, happy to see you. How are you?
Happy to be here.
Okay. All right. Speak to us about the momentum coming into this game. Waterhouse would have taken the early lead, but you would have came back 2-2. Would you say that momentum is with Cavalier to win?
Some would say that, but I'll just leave it down to we adjusting the system. And so going into this game, yes, to some extent, we believe that we have a particular momentum if we keep it, or we're supposed to keep it.
And from a defensive standpoint, the pairing of Giovanni Leng and Akil Henry. Yes, you would have lost Richard King, but how would you say assess the overall performance of those two centre-back pairings throughout the league?
They're a work in progress, and a lot of room for improvement, and we're working on them. They're getting better, and they'll only get better.
And Coach, Daniel would have asked about the tactical side of things. I want to ask you about the psychological side of things. Cavalier is a winning institution. Back-to-back titles, but you're a very young team. A leader, I've heard you speak before about Gio Leng and his impact on the defense and all of his aspirations. You could say he was at fault for a couple of the chances conceded. What is his mindset like coming into a game like this?
Well, Giovanni Leng know what time it is, and so I guess today he just have to turn up big for himself, the team, and the youngsters that he's leading. Because of course, you know, youngsters, once they look to the mature players all the time, and so you can't mature player making a lot of mistakes. But Giovanni know what time it is.
I agree with you, Coach, and you certainly look like you know what time it is as well, Coach. All the best today.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. All the best.
All the best, Coach.
So, the stage is set, practically, Jay. Waterhouse, Cavalier, it is a battle for ages. If we were to call it, which other players do you think can definitely step up? I think Omani Leacock was okay, but was not superb.
Yeah, Omani Leacock, for my money, has been one of the two best central midfielders in the Jamaica Premier League this season. I think that he had his moments, but Cavalier did a good job of condensing the midfield space, not allowing him to play the game that he would want to progressively. But I do think that you can't discount his quality, especially in ball progressions, and I'm looking forward to see what he can provide in this game. From a Cavalier perspective, we already mentioned Kimberly Scott, but I want to put it down to the same player that we just spoke to Coach Laylor about, Giovanni Leng.
Yes.
Experienced player. Was a part of a final between Waterhouse and Cavalier back in 2021.
Yes.
Missed a penalty, and that day maybe Waterhouse is his bogey team because he was also, for my money, poor in the first leg. He has to step up as a senior defender, the senior player in this Cavalier team. We know his quality. It's time for him to provide and do what he has to do.
I will talk about another person that must come to light, Adrian Reid. He has had his injuries throughout the season. Was one time playing at right back and now he's in his natural position. A fit Adrian Reid can be a superb masterclass against any team. How do you grade his performance since he has been consistently playing in his natural position?
I think it's been consistent. I think you used the word perfectly. Adrian Reid Jr. is a player that has experience despite his young age, has played in 3 Jamaica Premier League finals at different positions, as you would have mentioned, but in central midfield, he always makes his impact felt, and that's the most important thing, having that character, having that personality as a young central midfielder to provide those winning moments. And as we speak about winning moments, I have to ask you,
yes.
I'm the prediction guru,
yes,
but I like to delegate responsibilities. I know you're a big Waterhouse guy, but put your biases aside.
Yeah, put it aside.
What is your prediction for this game here this evening?
Based on depth in quality, I will go with Waterhouse winning 2-1.
2-0. You know, I don't like agreeing with my co-host too much when it comes on to predictions.
We think alike. So
we think alike. I've known it for quite some time, so it is pretty evident why we would think the same way. But I also would go for a Waterhouse 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes to extra time and penalties. That is the Cavalier way, and we have seen it in the past as well. Yeah. So that's basically what I'm going for personally. I'm looking forward to see what both of these teams can produce tonight. But until then, on this National Stadium pitch, on such an occasion, I personally can't wait. I'll be on commentary with Dean Smith. I'm sure we'll be seeing much more of you, not only tonight, but also throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Quick word before you go on the Portmore game and Racing United. That was also a scorcher. Quick word.
I spoke to the coach of Racing this morning, and he said that he's going for it. And the racing unit, Tajay, yes, they might not have the depth in quality as Portmore would have, but the momentum, as you just spoke about, Cavalier having the momentum, they too have the momentum coming in this time.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Coming back from 2 goals is one thing, coming back from 3 goals is a whole other ball game.
Ball game.
So I have to ask you again a quick prediction. I know we're almost going to be up on a break to head into the commentary for the first game, the Cavalier Waterhouse game. Quick prediction. I won't give mine.
I want to say Racing 2-1.
I disagree with that. I think Portmore is going through, but we have to see.
That's a problem. We can't agree to disagree.
For once.
Yes.
So after this, we're going to join the commentary. We're going to have a quick break. It's Cavalier taking on Waterhouse, second leg, Jamaica Premier League action, quarterfinal, second leg. Stay tuned.
From me yai there me knee, mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb Bosco Oats is ingrained in Jamaica.
A CB chicken, a better way. Introducing air chill chicken. It have more flavor, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes better, full of flavor in the kitchen. Better value, better taste, better chicken. CB chicken, tastes way better. Air chilled chicken, full of flavor. Taste way better. Better value, better taste, better chicken. No antibiotic and hormone free. Have you tasted the new air chilled chicken? Or my chicken nut? CB chicken, it tastes way better.
I save from VM Building Society. Every deposit got me here. Every step forward put me in the driver's seat.
For everything you're looking forward to, open an iSave account today. Visit gotomyvm.com to get started.
Every $25,000 you save with iSave earns an entry to win cash or a new home of your own. The more you save, the more entries you get, and every entry has a chance to win a brand new home of your own. VM iSave is the key to winning.
Here's to the early risers, and we are here all-nighters, the go the extra milers, and let's do it until it works, workers. People who are powerful, because they power through, day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power is not something you can buy or collect. It's something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snacks Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Ray and Neve, feel we culture. Yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it!
I make we all a one par, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel we country. Rear rum, it have to come with me.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time.
I feel we culture. Make we show ya Jamaican culture.
Ray and Neve, overproof from we just a do it for we culture.
A CB chicken, a better way. Introducing air chill chicken. It have more flavor, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes better, full of flavor in the kitchen. Better value, better taste, better chicken. CB chicken, tastes way better. Air chilled chicken, full of flavor. Taste way better. Better value, better taste, better chicken. No antibiotic and hormone free. Have you tasted the new air chilled chicken? Or my chicken nut? CB chicken, it tastes way better.
I save from VM Building Society. Every deposit got me here. Every step forward put me in the driver's seat.
For everything you're looking forward to, open an iSave account today. Visit GoTo.
What a wonderful scene here at the National Stadium for JPL quarterfinal action. This is a big matchup. The first leg ended in a 2-2 draw, Waterhouse and Cavalier, but they renew their rivalry, and this is expected to be a battle of attrition. Dean Smith in commentary. I'll be joined in a short while by Lejay Williams. Always great to be inside the JPL. The teams have marched out and they'll be greeting each other, doing all the pleasantries. Of course, coverage brought to you courtesy of the Jamaica Premier League and our many sponsors. So happy to have them with us. Waterhouse, led by their captain, Kimani Campbell. He's already with the team of officials. Of course, this is a very solid cast of officials leading the proceedings for this one. But let's have a look at the Waterhouse lineup.
Yeah, Waterhouse FC. Roger Williams in goal, Kimani Campbell, Rashawn Amos, Javane Bryan leading the line alongside Neran Barrow today, Omani Leacock, Kavis Paul, the aforementioned Neran Barrow, Jesus Mario Gudino, Shamari Dyer, and Shamari Dallas. Javier Einstein said they're switching from a 3-5-2 to a 3-4-3. Cavalier, they're going for something similar as well. Jamari Gordon in goal, Gio Leng, Shamar Watson, Akil Henry, Daryl Massacre, who was on target in the first leg, Adrian Reed, Kimarley Scott, who got a goal and assist as well, Dwayne Allen, Lewis Watson, Livingston Donaldson, and Christopher Ainsworth, the man who has played the most minutes in the Jamaica Premier League this season. Rudolph Speed, the technical director.
Well, the players to watch then are the Thomas for Waterhouse. Of course, he had a goal in the first leg. Kimani Scott for Cavalier, he too had a goal. Quality players, as we see the referees having a quick chat with the team captains. Lejay, what a big matchup this is.
Yeah, it is, and Daniel Parchment will be the man in charge. Experienced CONCACAF official Josette Kerr Wilson, Kedley Powell, his assistants, with Alexi Perry, the fourth official. And it's really shaping up to be a fantastic one. The National Stadium is always the perfect arena for any match of this magnitude. Two powerhouses in not only Casafa football, Kingston and St. Andrew football, but all of football in or on the island of Jamaica. And after that first leg, what that served up 4 goals. I personally can't wait for something hopefully quite similar to that goal explosion.
It was something really to savor. Of course, the neutrals were wondering if Waterhouse would just breeze past Cavalier, but perhaps they didn't see what happened in the first leg, where Racing, with the most dramatic of comebacks, ended that one 3-3 against Portmore. They go in the late kickoff later on today, but that's a team of officials. Perhaps you could call it an Avengers cast of officials for Cavalier. How many titles between all these coaches?
Yeah, it's as players as well. Rudolph Speed, of course, no need to speak about his accomplishments. Marcel Fozigale, of course, that's another wrinkle in this rivalry. He left Waterhouse in January, replaced by Javier Einstein, the Argentinian, who is now leading this Waterhouse team. There he is on the far left. He will be assisted by Alex Thomas. Also see former national under-20 player Luca Levy there on the coaching staff as well. So a lot of prestige, a lot of heritage, not only on the field, but on the coaching staffs as well. Looking forward to a big one, and we're only moments away from the commencement of what is shaping up to be a massive encounter.
Black with white trimmings, Waterhouse in their traditional yellow with some trimmings of blue thereabout. The Cavalier in full black. Only moments of kickoff. JPL quarterfinal action leg 2 for your viewing pleasure. There we go. Cavalier In possession at the moment. Forbes to Reed. Michael Forbes, the tall man, didn't get the best clearance. They had a very shaky start in the first leg. Trying to make amends here, but Waterhouse with possession now. He gets it to Campbell. Here's Bernardo Thomas. Always a tricky customer, so silky on the ball, but he's stripped of possession. And it's out for a throw-in for Cavalier early in the proceedings. Throw taken. Through to Javier Bryant. Finds Bernardo Thomas. Has Michael Forbes accompanied. Bernardo Thomas tried to tiptoe into the 18-yard box. Wins a corner kick for Waterhouse, the first of the encounter.
Waterhouse trying to get one of those lightning starts, very similar to what they would have gotten in that first leg. Bernardo Thomas played a key part in proceedings then as well, getting an assist in Aaron Barrow. Can he provide another assist with his in-swinging corner from his right boot?
Here's a corner kick. Headed away at the back post by Cavalier. Waterhouse still trying to regain possession, but now through Dwayne Allen, Cavalier tries to push forward. Ball sent wide. Kimani Scott. He sends it forward. Daryl Massicott is offside.
And that's the danger Cavalier always pose year after year. Tournament after tournament, league after league. So explosive on the transition, and Godino, I think, was a little bit misguided, especially in those transitional moments. As a defensive player, your option is always to delay. In the end, he opted, I would say, to engage. But luckily for him, Massicott didn't time his run effectively, and Waterhouse could escape.
Dyer tried that long ball forward, only out for a throw-in, and Cavalier will continue the business. Lewis Watson, of course, has come into the side at the beginning of the season. Of course, a former Kingston College player. His father, Raymond Watson, no stranger to coaching in the high school circuit, both at the under-16 and under-19 levels. Currently with Jamaica College in the under-19 competition, formerly of Kingston College, where he won many titles there as well. Good to see Lewis Watson back in the island doing his business, carrying the family legacy, so to speak.
Yeah, and had a pretty impressive performance in that first leg. Always difficult, especially against this Waterhouse team that love to overload in the wide areas. Shamari Dallas constantly bombing down that right-hand side, plus that right-sided attacker. Today it's going to be Javier Bryant, so it's a much different proposition, a much more physical one, as opposed to what he would have encountered in that first leg. It'll be quite intriguing to see how he deals with it.
Still some minor defensive duties for Cavalier. Giovanni Leng, the most experienced player on this Cavalier setup now, the captain.
He really has seen it all, but I think in a few instances he let his team down in that first leg.
He did, didn't he?
Uncharacteristically, I must say. I won't frame it as if it's a norm for him.
Yeah.
He's been rock solid for Cavalier for quite some time now. But maybe now without his usual, I would say, partner, but it used to be partners alongside Kyle Ming before he went to Mount Pleasant at the start of last season. Now Richard King plying his trade over in Scotland at St. Mirren.
Had a goal yesterday, I believe, as well,
yeah,
Richard King. Yeah.
A much different proposition now for him.
For their credit, Cavalier have said that this is a rebuilding year. Whatever happens this year, they'll be satisfied with it. Knowing how used they are to winning, I'm not sure if I really believe that, but perhaps that's the statement they make for the media. But nonetheless, let's see how this one goes. In possession, Ainsworth tried the Galactico-like shot.
Never short on confidence is Christopher Ainsworth. We saw him play most of his trade at left back throughout his Cavalier career so far. I believe that Shamari Dyer needing some assistance. The early proceedings in this one is going to be so important. We've already seen what momentum or a lack thereof can cause for either team. Waterhouse, I'm glad that their head coach Javier Einstein is so transparent with what he does tactically, because it is something I did notice in that first half. Going into the second, when they lost control, it was because firstly they couldn't maintain possession well enough, but there just wasn't enough movement between the lines, so those passes just weren't being fired through with the consistency that we're used to seeing from Waterhouse, and I think that's what led to them losing control, because they couldn't retain possession well enough. I think that's why we've seen the change of system here today, and it seems as if we're going to have a change in personnel early on as well, because Shamar Dyer is clearly really struggling, and they are calling for the stretcher for him
right now, says Danian Parchment.
And Dwayne Berger, the Jamaica Youth International, is ready, stripped and gearing to go, but this would be a very, very big loss for this Waterhouse team, Dean.
From experience as well, and the quality, of course. Berger is quality, but we're talking about experience at this level. Of course, Dyer playing many seasons in the playoff stage of the competition with Arnett before Waterhouse, so it's a big loss so early in the encounter.
Yes, and with Harbourview as well, so he has title experience also. And Dwayne Berger coming on, I think, would also prompt a change slightly, not necessarily in the system, but how it's interpreted. Shamar Dallas, I assume, would be the one to go back into a centre-back position in that back three. It also could be Kimani Campbell. So I think maybe on the wider areas, Berger a much more attacking option. Waterhouse, maybe we're going for a little bit more balance, a little bit more defensive solidity. It's going to be quite intriguing to see how that changes proceedings, especially from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, hate to see a player exit so early. Of course, we wish him the very best. Hope it's something that he can recover from quickly. Should Waterhouse qualify to the next round, of course, the semi-final set to begin on Sunday, and the team waiting for whoever wins this quarter-final leg is Montego Bay United. They finished second in the regular season. So confirmation of the substitute, Berger coming on for Shamar Dyer. Another player down for Waterhouse. Yellow card sent to Christopher Ainsworth.
It was Berger immediately getting an introduction into proceedings, let's say.
What a baptism of fire. Shamar Dallas has certainly found favor with Javier Einstein. Einstein, I'm sure he wouldn't mind Einstein, but have never seen him with so many minutes as a Waterhouse player. Of course, he's been used there and thereabout, but has been a staple in this Waterhouse setup under new management. Let's see if he rewards them in this particular matchup. Throw in for Cavalier. They win another one. Confirmation of that yellow card to Christopher Ainsworth. Now in the number 10 shirt for Cavalier. Picking up from where Dwayne Atkinson left off. He now applies his trade in the USL. Here's Waterhouse. Thomas gets it to Berger. First real touch of the ball now, Berger. Goes direct to Javier Bryan. His first touch wasn't perfect, but it's still alive. That was Naren Barr, actually. Javier Bryan tried to help him out after his first touch let him down. Throw in for Cavalier.
And with those two, I would say, twin towers up front, it is a much different proposition, as mentioned previously, as opposed to what Waterhouse would have done in that first leg. Another tough challenge coming in. Berger actually undercut Dwayne Allen. He said a baptism of fire. I think he's immediately into the wars, Dwayne Berger.
He's back up. Dwayne Allen still taking his time. He'll be fine. Happy to know that there's no more forced substitutions in this encounter. They resume immediately. Here's Watson. Perhaps winning a corner there. Yes, it is a corner. The first for Cavalier, that in the 11th minute of the encounter. They've always been having good fortunes from the dead ball. Cavalier, of course, the final match in the regular season had 2 goals courtesy of the dead ball. Adrian Reed, one of the scorers on that occasion. Now he's provider.
Certainly capable as well. As the lights flick on here at the National Stadium in Kingston.
Sent in the area. Over everyone at the back post. Here's Lang. Sends it back in the area. Ainsworth can't get it across. It's a throw-in.
Competitive and pretty even start to proceedings. I believe Cavalier prepping a long throw here courtesy of Adrian Reed Jr.
Here's that throw-in. Still some argy-bargy in the box. Waterhouse finally get it away, but to a Cavalier player. Here's Tallman send it into the area. Here's Akil Henry. The Trinbagonian all the way back to the young goalkeeper. Gordon sends it up the field. Waterhouse get in possession. Here's the captain Campbell. Omani Leacock from the Bahamas. Make that Barbados. Berger can't keep that one in. It was a miscued kick from Cavis Paul, the Guyanese. Of course, I'm being deliberate to mention the international flavor, or the regional flavor if you want to be a bit more specific. Here.
It's littered all over this pitch at current.
Yeah.
With much more to come as well. If we're looking on the bench for both teams.
Good turn from Kimali Scott. Can he get by? Dallas there with him. Dallas did the business there. Scott won back the ball, but illegally, says referee Danian Parchment.
And rest assured, this won't be the last time we see him nipping at a defender's heels throughout this game. A real bundle of energy is Kimali Scott. We saw that in full effect in the first leg. A goal and an assist led that comeback in a player of the match performance for Cavalier.
And in Parchment not happy with the 2 balls on the pitch. Gets one off. Yeah, Kimali Scott. We saw it from last season in the Manning Cup, and of course, the season just concluded. He was able to guide his team to a trophy. Here's Massicott. Won that one legally. The Antiguan sent it straight to the goalkeeper, Roger Williams, a man formerly of Veer, formerly of Arnett as well, and now with Waterhouse. Denardo Thomas.
Leacock certainly taking his time. Amos trying to launch that one forward. It's charged down. And Roger Williams back in possession.
Ball sent forward, but into touch.
The speed of pass for both teams not quite high in this game so far. I think that has led to a much lower tempo, especially from a Waterhouse perspective. Of course, Cavalier much more comfortable playing at a tempo like this. They do like to, I don't want to say drag games down to a lull, but that is certainly the tempo they prefer to play at. And that's the tempo, in all fairness, that has won them titles, the past 2 Jamaica Premier League titles, as a matter of fact.
And for those who perhaps are wondering about this Cavalier team, not that they lack speed, that's why they want to play it at a lull. They definitely have speed up top, have always had speed up top. That's just part of the DNA of the team. And bringing it to the lull, as you mentioned, certainly aids in the transitional game that they have really mastered. Here's some action that they need to defend. Miscommunication again between Leng and Gordon. They haven't had the cell phone numbers really dialed in.
Yeah, from the first leg, I think Jamar Gordon has been a little bit indecisive when advancing off his line.
Good interception that from Shamar Watson. Kept it alive. Massicott couldn't get the header on that. Roger Williams, comfortable on the ball, is the goalkeeper for Waterhouse.
But sometimes a little bit complacent as well. Can put his team into some problems.
Can't have it all, can we?
Yeah. Does seem to be all about business so far today, though. As Leacock drive through the middle.
Barrow gets it to Donata Thomas. Has Kimani Campbell for company. Uses him now. Good challenge that. And the ball sent out by Livingston Donaldson. Former Garvey player is Donaldson. That's in the local rural area high school top flight, the Da Costa Cup. Were champions 2 seasons ago, Garvey Masia, since surrendering to St. Elizabeth Technical late in 2025, I beg your pardon. Here's action as Waterhouse try to clear their line. Blessed with early goals in both matches in the first leg of the quarterfinals. I'm wondering if there will be a late flurry. Of course, I'm not sure the neutrals would want a penalty, the lottery of the penalty shootout to decide who goes forward. Lots of minutes left to decide. Here they come, Waterhouse. Bundled over by Adrian Reed.
There was a driving run coming in from Jesus Murillo Gudino, the man from Panama.
Free kick in a dangerous area.
And Waterhouse are blessed with quite a few good set piece takers.
3 of them assembling.
Yeah, including the captain of the team, Kimani Campbell.
Based on the positioning, Kimani Campbell seems to be the one who will take it, or could it be Donata Thomas? Minute number 19 in this encounter. Donata Thomas over the top.
Never looked quite convinced as he struck that one, Donata Thomas. Surprised as well that it wasn't the skipper that was the one engaging in that free kick. Certainly favored a left-footed option as well. But then Donata Thomas, his confidence surely high coming into this one. Goal and an assist. Big impact player and has been for quite some time now for Waterhouse.
Has loads of skill. I remember when Jermaine Miller was a part of Marcel Gale's coaching staff, I asked him about just the demeanor of Donata Thomas. Said he's one of the most quiet players he's ever come across, with so much skill and swagger on the field. And he thought that had he been a bit more commanding, even as a person, it would have translated at a higher level in his game. Sometimes it's just too easy going.
It does seem as if Javier Einstein has been getting the best out of him ever since he took over in January.
Here's Cavalier, Massicott. Didn't have the best first touch. Waterhouse trying to clear. They do win a throw in courtesy of the ball being blasted on Daryl Massicott's body. Cavalier trying to win it high. Kavis Paul doing the business there. Nervous moment.
Yeah.
Had to be alert to that one. Just at a snapshot.
Yeah, it was Shamar Watson. I think he was just trying to hook that one back into a dangerous area. And it looked as if he was just going to creep into that back post. Roger Williams had to be alert.
Thankfully for Waterhouse and their supporters, here's a corner kick, retakes it, headed away by Javin Bryan at the back post. Donaldson tried to get the half volley.
Yeah, but handled it as he miskicked it as well. Waterhouse can get another opportunity to get some possession in this game. Neither team, I think, has quite settled in possession. It has been a game played with a lack of control, I might say, and that was exemplified there on the right-hand side through Donaldson.
The best Jamaican term I can use to describe the game, it's a bit pitchy-patchy. No real control, as you mentioned, here and there about. But Waterhouse, they're trying to settle in possession here. Haven't seen them do this in the 20 minutes prior. Here's Dallas. Gets it forward. Javin Bryan on the hunt. Giovanni Lang gets there before him. No nonsense in putting that one into touch.
It can give Waterhouse an opportunity to possibly load up that penalty area and provide a long throw.
3 players in the area, headed away by Lang. Here's Leacock, slipped, regained possession though. Almost thread that one through to the youngster Dwayne Berger.
A really good attempt there by Omani Leacock. Hasn't gotten on the ball much so far in this game. Being closely watched, closely marshaled, especially by Dwayne Allen. However, Cavalier weren't able to prevent this corner kick. It will be an outswinger. Denardo Thomas to whip it in.
All of 5 players in the box to aim for in a Waterhouse shirt. Oh, that was a good attempt, you know. Shamar Dallas wasn't able to provide the finishing touch there.
But Kimani Campbell was tripped up right on the edge of the penalty area. Referee Parchment was right on the scene. It was Donaldson and it does seem as if that one was quite close to the penalty area.
Waterhouse not having the benefit of VAR. Certainly it wasn't that far away from the 18-yard box. It certainly wasn't that far away. Cavalier should count themselves lucky.
And I think this was a weird scenario where the player was traveling outside of the box instead of going into it. So it would be quite difficult for the referee to judge at that point. But I think when they watch this one back, it might be Waterhouse feeling hard done by, unless they convert this set piece nonetheless.
Denardo Thomas in an Olympico-like position. And that one was far from any real quality.
Yeah, it was Neron Barrow. Pretty obvious set piece routine coming up there.
Cavalier launches one forward through Lang. Scott trying to head that one. Does win it. Playing a bit of football, volleyball at the moment. Here's a shot. No real control from the experienced Dwayne Allen.
Always such a worker in that central midfield area for Cavalier. Always latching on as well to those loose balls, picking up right areas of space, which he did here very well. But as I said, no control in his effort.
Sparrow gets it to Javier Bryan. Does well. Javier Bryan! Charged down by Giovanni Leng. You get the feeling that that was a very, very important defensive action from Leng. Cavalier still at the ball. Dwayne Allen trying to go forward. So many players from Waterhouse surrounding him. They win the possession now. Kavis Paul, the Guyanese, streaming forward. Gets it to Thomas. Back to Denata Thomas. Tried the 1-2, but wasn't the quickest to respond. Kavis Paul did win a throw-in for Waterhouse nonetheless.
And finally, the game getting a little bit stretched.
Adrian Reed send this one forward to Massicott. Certainly not the ear of his body. He wanted that one to land.
And certainly not the control that Rashawn Amos wanted to effect as well.
Trading blows. Reed lobs this one forward. Massicott still trying to get there. Waterhouse trying to attack. Javier Bryan giving chase to that one. It was played off him by Lewis Watson.
He's asked to do quite a sacrificial role in this setup, is Javier Bryan. Not playing through the center as he's so accustomed to doing. Operating much more from a wider right area. Much more of a link player. Tries to flick that one on Dwayne Allen, but unable to connect with a teammate, or the ball for that matter.
Creeping up to half an hour in the encounter. Haven't really seen much in the way of goal mouth action. No team exerting any real measure of dominance either. But that can change in a moment, in a flash really. Cavalier, they have possession. Throw taken by Watson to the captain Leng. Shamar Watson back to Akil Henry, 19-year-old from the Twin Island Republic. Another teenager in goal for Cavalier in the form of Gordon. He punts that one long. Their best spell of possession so far. Donaldson sends it in the area. Header! Follow up, it's in! Knock, knock! Who is there? What a moment for Cavalier in the quarterfinal second round. And Adrian Reed, always there, always showing his quality. And it's a big moment for them just at the stroke of half an hour.
Yeah, and we have been speaking in this game about Dwayne Allen and his ability to ghost into those right spaces, spaces that no one sees. He invades, and not only did he invade the space, he was also first to react from his own shot that was saved by Roger Williams fantastically as well. And Cavalier, after being 2 goals down in the tie, are now 3-2 up. They've effected the comeback, Dean.
They have. They really have. In the grand scheme of things, 3 unanswered goals as well. How does Waterhouse respond? I can legitimately say now, from your coach's hat, how does Waterhouse respond, Lejay?
Yeah, I think it's all about playing with a little bit more confidence.
Here they
trying
come.
to move the ball a little quicker as Kimani Campbell was trying to do. Just play with a little bit more purpose. Everything that they do tactically is almost right. They're doing well. It's just about playing with some more purpose and a little bit more urgency, as Dwayne Allen was urgent in that scenario. Can one of their players be the first to meet this DeAndre Thomas corner?
Here's a big chance for Waterhouse. Kimani Campbell just wasn't there to capitalize. Good defensive work. From a Cavalier perspective, they win another throw-in, or a throw-in, to be a bit more specific. Dallas sends it in the area. Massicott trying to bring it away. Gets it to Kimali Scott. Can he beat his man? Kimali Scott, the little dynamo. Amos showing his quality. Gives it away though. Still alive for Cavalier. Trying to twist and turn. Here's Massicott. Has Donaldson for company. Opted for a central pass. That was cut out. Here's Brian. Leacock to Berger. Berger back to Leacock.
Finally getting some space in the middle of the park now, Leacock.
Can he be cut out here by Cavalier? They double, triple teamed him, but was able to pass it off. Roger Williams now in possession.
Yeah, they really did well there to set a trap for Leacock.
Ball forward to Donato Thomas. Silky smooth. That delivery. Perfect, if not perfect. Here's Dwayne Berger. Can't get it in. Always so tricky when the ball is bouncing there. Adrian Reed boots it forward. Can Kimali Scott keep it in? No, he can't.
You're unable to do so.
Of course, spectators coming in all the while here at the National Stadium, the office, as it has been called, a la 1997-1998. Of course, the big matchup, the Portmore Derby. I see a wry smile on the face of John Stewart. He'll be in the commentary position for that matchup. Here's Waterhouse now. Barrow didn't have the best touch. Kimani Campbell, can he spring something from there? He couldn't. Here's Leacock. Skipping past two. Brian sends it wide. Dwayne Berger goes back centrally. Godino to the captain, Campbell. He drives forward. Can he release a shot? He does. But Akil Henry still stung by that one. He's actually holding his back, you know. He'll need some treatment. He pulls up his shirt. That's the ferocity of that shot. It's given away. Here's Barrow. And Giovanni Leng being captain savior on that occasion. Still action for Waterhouse. Unrelenting. Berger. Can he cook something on this flank? Christopher Ainsworth says, get up. Nothing is doing.
Yeah, cheaply gave that possession away, I would say. Dwayne Berger. Waterhouse for once finding a way to sustain some pressure.
Gordon
has been relinquished.
Leacock being hounded by Dwayne Allen, the goal scorer. Here's Donato Thomas. Has such an exquisite range of passing. The control wasn't commensurate.
Leacock unable to keep that one in. And now it is Jamari Gordon needing some assistance. I think the Cavalier coaching staff probably sensing that they need a little bit of a timeout to settle things here.
Here's a look at the goal scored by Dwayne Allen. First header, Roger Williams has saved it, and he was first to the rebound. Would that be classified as a goal and an assist?
It was excellent movement initially, sneaking in between two defenders who should have been more aware. And then even after getting that shot off, he was still first to react in that penalty area. And it's those little details, the minute ones that champions certainly are fans of. And that's what Dwayne Allen has up his sleeve. That's what Cavalier have up their sleeve. And 10 minutes into the first leg, you might have thought that Waterhouse were going to go on to dominate this tie. But we're inching close to what would now be, you can say, the three-quarter way in the tie.
Yeah.
And Cavalier have found themselves in front and at top of proceedings for the first time.
You know, as you mentioned, the tactical timeout, such a routine from the goalkeepers. I really hope that FIFA doesn't, or IFAB doesn't get involved in that part of the game, because I can't say I hate it, you know, I really can't say, but I see where all four coaches from the Cavalier staff were giving instructions to the two forward players, Massicott and Kimali Scott, so perhaps they want a bit more dynamism in their movement up top. Let's see if that instruction is materialized. Here's Waterhouse in possession. Leacock to the captain Campbell. Here's Donato Thomas. Kavis Paul, the young Guyanese. Roger Williams, a coach on the midst of the field. I remember when I just started in this industry, Lejay, I saw him at a match that I think you were an analyst for. It was, I think, Campion versus Kingston Technical. And he coached Kingston Technical right through the match, and he wasn't an official coach. He was a former coach who was just hanging around, and he was so vocal. Not something that I think can be understated, the benefit of having somebody like that on your team. Someone who's knowledgeable of the game, very vocal, can command players around. We have heard the special one say how significant it was to have real leaders in the locker room, much less on the field. Here's Waterhouse. I wax lyrical about that. Action here. Berger can't get it to a teammate in yellow and white. Want to give a quick update to all the viewers watching the remaining Jamaica Premier League semi-final and final matches. You will need to either become a paid member of the official JPL YouTube channel or use the link in the description at jpl.streameai.com to stream the matches. All matches will continue to be broadcasted on Rush Sports 2 in the Caribbean. Here's the corner kick for Waterhouse. Berger. Shamar Watson gets it to Massicott now. His ball forward to Kimali Scott, offside. Action continues. Berger has seen a lot of the ball. Here's delivery. Naran Barrag got ahead to it, trying to keep it alive. Poor pass from Kimani Campbell. Certainly not what he wanted to do. Here's Amos. Can he mop up the damage? Gets it to Roger Williams.
Waterhouse once more look to build another attack. Man from Panama, Godino, finding Kimani Campbell.
Campbell to Leacock, back to Campbell. Godino, Thomas. They've combined well in the middle of the park. Stringing passes together. Here's Donata Thomas. Trying to use some guile. Nothing much resulting from it. Here's Kimani Campbell. Good defensive positioning though from the Cavalier players. Not giving him an inch to aim for in the box. Really man marking well in the box, Cavalier. Can they go on the fast break now? Ball to Ainsworth. He has pace. Gets by Berger. Gets it around. Here's Kimali Scott, hounded. Begging for the call. The referee ignored and now will dish the card. There was an impetuous tone to that tackle from Kimali Scott. As if he was saying, oh, you stripped me of possession, I'm going to show you. Of course, you can do that on a Sunday afternoon, but certainly not inside the National Stadium for JPL quarterfinal action.
And he was punished immediately as well. Waterhouse trying to forge a way through this Cavalier team who have retreated significantly, I would say, since scoring their goal. The shape looking much more like a back five now as well, with Christopher Ainsworth joining that back line. Lewis Watson now a part of a back three firmly. It's making it much more difficult for Waterhouse to find spaces, particularly in behind. I think having a little bit more of those ball players like Mario Sims on the bench, maybe even a Jamon Lyle, to operate in front of the back line could be a way how Waterhouse could try and pick this lock. But having those three players just all across the back line without enough movement hasn't quite been the way for Waterhouse so far, and they need to find a way if they're going to get back into this tie.
Just about 3 minutes left in normal time in the first half. Cavalier in possession here with Shamar Watson. Spread it lovely for Christopher Ainsworth. Took it down well. Already on a card is Christopher Ainsworth. Had a loose elbow on that occasion, and referee Daniel Parchment gave the call in favor of Dwayne Berger. What a moment he's had. Berger. You just never know how a youngster will turn out. I remember when he was perhaps in grade 7, grade 8, thereabout. A mutual friend invited him to play with us at his event, and yeah, his brother who played for Kingston College was really the standout then. Messi they called him. But would have never imagined that he would have been the one in the Jamaica Premier League and headed to the Under-17 World Cup as well.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic young talent is Berger. Tough matchup against Christopher Ainsworth down this right-hand side, however. And I have to say it's a battle that Ainsworth is winning at this current moment. Yeah.
Of course, Ainsworth not a stranger to starting playoff life as a youngster. Has already been in 3 finals. Christopher Ainsworth. Here's Javane Bryan. He hasn't been in a final yet.
He's a former Golden Boot winner, however, in the Jamaica Premier League. A couple of seasons ago, 18 goals to his name. Looking to regain that form and possibly score a highly important goal for Waterhouse in this tie. It will be a free kick, and Denardo Thomas to whip it in. Can they forge something with only a few seconds to go before the end of this first half?
6 players in the box to aim for. Berger now just outside the box in the D. Thomas with the delivery. Heads go up, headed away by Lang. Here's Berger. Stripped of possession by Donaldson. Leacock wins it back, goes to the byline, wins the corner kick for Waterhouse. Akil Henry there, unable to keep it in.
A minimum 4 minutes to go at the end of this first half. Will be Denardo Thomas once more to take charge of this set piece. Another in-swinger.
Thomas with the corner kick. Barrow was trying to get there, but it was headed away by Cavalier.
Big header from Leng, who's stepping up in a big way in this first half. Has responded very well to his so-so performance in that first leg. That's a hallmark of very talented players.
You know, I've not heard that term so-so in quite a while. Thank you, Lejay. Here's a ball forward. Denardo Thomas with a lovely first touch. Still, Thomas has two for company. Gets it to Barrow. Barrow trying the snapshot. Was charged down. Still alive. Leacock on the ball. Kimali Scott, ubiquitous with him. Here's Campbell now, trying to make the delivery at the back post. Brian was arriving. Noise building in the grandstand. Waterhouse trying to turn up the fire.
Javier Bryan being told to leave it by the youngster Dwayne Berger.
Loose ball! Oh, lovely snapshot! But he was equal to the task, was Jamari Gordon. What a moment for him, what a moment for Brian. Things can change so quickly.
Absolutely superb save from Jamari Gordon. He was one of those Cavalier players that had a so-so time of it in that first leg. But ever since the second half onwards, he's been sterling.
Here's a corner kick. Still alive for Waterhouse. Leacock! Looking for the V. Didn't find the swing there. Here's another look at that snap save. Or make that the effort from Leacock.
Just about drifting from that far post of Jamari Gordon. And alongside Dwayne Allen, he's a big reason why this game is still favoring Cavalier and this tie is still favoring Cavalier. Javier Bryan doing excellently there.
Here he comes. Gets it across. Denardo Thomas! Oh, he was trying to grow an inch. Only an inch he needed there. Oh, wow. Well, they're getting their money's worth, Lejay Williams.
Yeah, really good work from Javier Bryan. And Waterhouse still alive.
Donaldson with the clearance for Cavalier finally. You really can't catch your breath, can you?
And at this point, they're just holding on. Our Cavalier. Waterhouse really ramping up this pressure. And I'm sure Cavalier can't wait to hear referee's parchment halftime whistle.
Here they come. Watson gets it out wide. They get the call now. A belated whistle from Danian Parchment.
That whistle will do as well. Finally to relieve some pressure. And I suspect that they will take quite some time over this set piece as the first half inches to a close.
Christopher Ainsworth over it. Takes it short. And he bides the time. That's the halftime whistle from Danian Parchment. Waterhouse and Cavalier. Second leg action in the quarterfinal of the Jamaica Premier League. Cavalier, courtesy of Dwayne Allen. Just about at the stroke of the half an hour mark in this matchup. He was able to head onto the goal from Roger Williams. And then, when Roger Williams was unable to save, he followed up with an emphatic finish. So, Cavalier, they lead after 45 minutes. JPL quarterfinal action. Let's have a quick look at the halftime highlights. Cavalier started sprightly. Kimali Scott played that one forward for Darrell Massacott, the Antiguan. he was offside. Here's another delivery. Make that an attempted shot from Christopher Ainsworth, rather ambitious. Waterhouse also grew in the match. Here they came forward through Godina. Was fouled by Adrian Reed, the resulting free kick. Let's see another look at that foul there. Here's the resulting free kick. Denardo Thomas was a bit complacent around it, and that one was skied way over the top. This was a snapshot from Shamar Watson. Roger Williams had to be alert. He was alert. That was danger lurking. Action from Waterhouse. That shot went wide. And Cavalier, they count themselves lucky. That could have been a foul there. Here's a shot. Dwayne Allen. Well wide. More action. This ball sent in the area. Look at the run from Dwayne Allen. He got the header, got the rebound, bang on target. Number 13 doing the business for Cavalier, putting them a goal ahead. More action here. Throw in from Waterhouse. Look at that shot. Look at that save from Jamari Gordon. He had elastics. More action. That one came alive. Leacock trying to find the top corner. Couldn't find it. More action. Waterhouse pushing for the equalizer. That one was so perfectly placed. But only a few more inches needed from Denardo Thomas. The Jamaica Premier League quarterfinal action. Want to say a very special thanks to our sponsors. Tonight's broadcast is proudly brought to you by valued partners who continue to power the growth of Jamaican football. Want to say a very special thanks to Ray and Nephew, the official title partner of the Jamaica Premier League. Visit Jamaica, bringing the spirit of Jamaica to the world. CB Admiral, Sports Development Foundation, Fosca Oats, and Tankwell Metals. This matchup is brought to you courtesy of these our valued partners. Here's the match stats. Waterhouse with 58% of the possession. They had 3 shots, none on target. Cavalier also having 3, 1 on target. 8 corners between the two teams, 6 for Waterhouse, 2 offsides to Cavalier. They also had 2 yellow cards. They need to watch that. No red cards. But importantly, at the half, they have 1 goal. Waterhouse without any at the moment. They lead 3-2 on aggregate. Well, we take a break here from the National Stadium. When we return, second half action.
Mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb, Fosca Oats is ingrained in Jamaica.
myvm.com to get started.
Every $25,000 you save with iSave earns an entry to win cash or a new home of your own. The more you save, the more entries you get, and every entry has a chance to win a brand new home of your own. VM iSave is the key to winning.
Here's to the early risers, and we are here all-nighters, the go the extra milers, and let's do it until it works, workers. People who are powerful because they powered through day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power is not something you can buy or collect. It's something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snacks Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Ray and Never, feel we culture, yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it!
I make we all a one par, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel we country. Rear rum, it have to come with me.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time.
I feel we culture. Make we show ya Jamaican culture.
Ray and Never, overproof from we just a do it feel we culture.
A CB chicken, a better way. Introducing air chill chicken. It have more flavor, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes better, full of flavor in the kitchen. Better value, better taste, better chicken. CB chicken, tastes way better. Air chilled chicken, taste way better. Better value, better taste, better chicken. No antibiotic and hormone free. Have you tasted the new air chilled chicken? Or my chicken nut? CB chicken, it tastes way better.
I save from VM Building Society. Every deposit got me here. Every step forward put me in the driver's seat.
For everything.
From me yai there me knee, mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverbs Bosco Oats is ingrained in Jamaica.
You're looking forward to. Open an iSave account today. Visit gotomyvm.com to get started.
Every $25,000 you save with iSave earns an entry to win cash or a new home of your own. The more you save, the more entries you get, and every entry has a chance to win a brand new home of your own. VM iSave is the key to winning.
Here's to the early risers, and we are here all-nighters, the go the extra milers, and let's do it until it works, workers. People who are powerful because they powered through day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power is not something you can buy or collect. It's something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snacks Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Ray and Never, feel we culture, yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it!
I make we all a one par, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel we country. Rear rum, it have to come with me.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time.
I feel we culture. Make we show ya Jamaican culture.
Ray and Never, overproof from we just a do it feel we culture.
A CB chicken, a better way. Introducing air chill chicken. It have more flavor, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes better, full of flavor in the kitchen. Better value, better taste, better chicken. CB chicken, tastes way better. Air chilled chicken, taste way better. Better value, better taste, better chicken. No antibiotic and hormone free. Have you tasted the new air chilled chicken? Or my chicken nut? CB chicken, it tastes way better.
I save from VM Building Society. Every deposit got me here. Every step forward put me in the driver's seat.
For everything you're looking forward to, open an iSave account today. Visit gotomyvm.com to get started.
Every $25,000 you save with iSave earns an entry to win cash or a new home of your own. The more you save, the more entries you get, and every entry has a chance to win a brand new home of your own. VM iSave is the key to winning.
Here's to the early risers. And we are here all-nighters. The go, the extra milers. And let's do it until it works, workers. People who are powerful. Because they power through. Day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power is not something you can buy or collect. It's something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snacks Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Ray and Never, feel we culture. Yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it.
I make we all a one bar, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel we country. Rear rum, it have to come with me.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time.
I feel we culture. Make we show ya Jamaican culture.
Ray and Never, overproof from we just a do it to we culture.
From me yide and me knee, Mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb Bosco Oats is ingrained in Jamaica. From me yide and me knee, Mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb Bosco Oats is ingrained in Jamaica. From me
a CB chicken, a better way. Introducing air chill chicken. It have more flavor, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes better, full of flavor in the kitchen. Better value, better taste, better chicken. CB chicken, tastes way better. Air chilled chicken, taste way better. Better value, better taste, better chicken. No antibiotic and hormone free. Have you tasted the new air chilled chicken? Or my chicken nut? CB chicken, it tastes way better.
With Lejay Williams, your thoughts as we head into the second half?
I think especially the conclusion of that first half was extremely exciting, and I always felt as if this game was simmering along and it really needed a goal to explode, and that's exactly what we got when Dwayne Allen got that go-ahead goal for Cavalier. Since then it's been Waterhouse trying to find creative ways, find ways to breach his Cavalier defense, which has become increasingly, I would say, I won't say laid back because they are still engaging, but their defensive line is so much deeper and they're just trying to now sustain this lead instead of add to it. And I do certainly think that it's going to be a tall order if they're going to do that throughout the rest of this game. It's all going to be for them. Can they get that second goal? And for Waterhouse, can they get that equalizer? A lot to look forward to from two very quality teams.
Yeah, two quality teams. Let's see how the half progresses. Of course, still waiting on that kickoff. A few changes being made.
Yeah. For Waterhouse, I believe it's a double substitution from the perspective of Dwayne Berger. Unfortunate for the young man. He's being replaced by Cardell Bemba. So an attacking change down that right wing back side for Cavalier. And we're also going to see Colorado Murray, who was out for the first leg due to a concussion. He has passed the protocol just in time to come into this game, and he will be replacing Gudino. So possibly a change in shape. Maybe we'll see Denardo Thomas now start to operate beside Leacock in that central midfield zone. So certainly attacking changes for Waterhouse. They're going for this one.
They have to. There is no time for reconsiderations. They have to go all in. If you're joining us, wherever you're joining us from, thank you so much for connecting with us as we bring the action to you from the National Stadium. Playoff action, always so entertaining. Waterhouse getting ready with the kickoff.
And immediately Cavalier and Kimarley Scott trying to launch an attack.
Amos there, equal to the task. Here's Kimani Campbell for Waterhouse. Swung that one wide, trying to connect with Colorado Murray. Christopher Ainsworth. Here's the ball in the area. Gordon was alert.
Yeah, very well claimed. Assertive in claiming that one as well. High one launched by Gordon, but it's cleared away by Kavis Paul, young man from Guyana. Quite a few coaches have messaged me during the broadcast so far. Very tactically intriguing battle all throughout. One of those coaches, Kemar Ricketts, head coach of Treasure Beach, as he steered them towards safety. Also, newly appointed head coach, as Colorado Murray is fouled. Newly appointed head coach of Calabar and their under-19 Manning Cup program in urban area schoolboy football. He says that his wife Torian is a big fan of our commentary, Dean, so it seems as if we're doing something right after all.
Hi, Torian. Thank you so much for the kind compliments.
Nothing kind about this midfield battle as Cavalier looked to forge a way through, but the pass from Allen unable to connect with Massicott.
Here's Waterhouse trying to build something. They sprayed forward. Javane Bryan, good hold up play from him. But haven't they held him up in the middle of the park? Cavalier doing very well.
And it's extremely brave by Waterhouse as well. We've seen them do this throughout the season. But quite a few, practically all of their striking players on the pitch all at once. Neran Barrow, Javane Bryan and Colorado Murray in a three-pronged attack, being flanked now by Kimani Campbell and Cardell Bembo. So you can't say that Waterhouse are sitting back on their laurels trying to see through this game. They're being very aggressive, very assertive in how they seek this equalizer. And they have quite a bit of time to do it.
I watched the remark that you have quite a lot of famous individuals in your contact list, DJ. Kemar Ricketts.
Yeah, just perks of the job, you know. Perks of the job.
And your own quality as well.
You're too kind, Dean.
I try.
Nothing kind about that challenge, though, from Massicott and Amani Leacock. But Waterhouse not wasting any time to get the ball back on the play.
Thomas with it. Gets it forward. Here's a shot from distance. Straight to the keeper. He was alert to the danger. Jamari Gordon.
He's been so solid throughout this game.
Is this an advert for him to be included in a under-20 squad? Jamari Gordon certainly showing his quality.
Stay with
a
that
throw
man.
in.
Cut it off, no man. Get behind the ball. We are work overtime, you know.
Adrian Reed has started to take every single one of them.
Come again. See there?
A lot of long throws Cavalier are using in their repertoire now.
Go!
Cavalier in possession. Gordon. High. Into the center circle. Rashawn Amos punts it forward. Foul there on Barrow. Ball forward. Headed away by Dallas. Massicott still holds on to it for Cavalier. Of course, the name Massicott. Some persons perhaps wondering if Mascot is the name. No, Massicott. The youngster from Antigua. Heard about him years prior to his arrival in the JPL. A certain Christopher Harvey told me about him from his time coaching in Grenades FC in the Antiguan League.
And of course, Cavalier no stranger
to Antiguan quality.
Yeah.
Dalmaro Calvin, perhaps the most noted player. Denado Thomas tried the back heel. Picked up by Campbell. Gets it to Murray. Here's Benbow. Ball in the area, headed away. Well by Leng, still alive with Murray. Gets it to Amos. Ball in the area. Happy to see that go out. Off play, Cavalier. Just about 5 minutes gone in the second half. Still in control. Few substitutes warming up for Cavalier as well. Shatsan Milan, one of them.
Romarion Thomas, the other.
What a striker of the dead ball is Romarion Thomas. Always something box office when he stands over one, Lejay. You have to be alert. Here's Cavalier. Ainsworth with the ball over the top. Dallas giving chase to it. Massicott relented. Benbow. I remember when Cardell Benbow had his own banners as a high schooler. Wow. I'm getting old, you know.
Cardell Benbow was a star in his high school days. Still a very, very useful and talented player in the Jamaica Premier League. Well traveled now at this point. Actually started this season at Portmore United. Of course, Portmore will be in action after this game against Racing United. That one starting at 9 p.m. That tie currently tied at 3 goals apiece. Waterhouse would, at minimum, love for this tie to be level at 3 goals apiece pretty soon.
Dallas. Cavalier surrendering a lot of space in the Waterhouse half, giving them the opportunity to build as they like from the back, but of course having marginal space between their lines, not giving Waterhouse much options, much room as we see here, having to turn back. Kimani Campbell, can he find a delivery? No, he can't. Massicott, how good is his hold-up play? Did need to test it, but the return pass to him was miscued.
Yeah, it was Donaldson who miscued that one. But we did say right before the end of that first half what Waterhouse needed to do if they're going to probe against such a deep back line. And I did say that maybe they would need to station a couple more players right in front of that Cavalier back line. But based on how deep that back line has become, that's probably not a viable option. So it seems as if they've more so doubled down on trying to attack in those wide areas. And with those 3 strikers now operating on that front line in Javane, Bryan, Colorado Murray, and Neran Barrow, getting crosses into the box might be the best way for them to get a goal back in this game.
Good take.
But they need to have better forward passes than that. It's now Cavalier in possession.
Dwayne Allen losing possession. Here's Leacock streaming forward. Gets it to Thomas. Thomas has Kimani Campbell with him. Thomas trying to twist and turn. Got the pass right. Here's Campbell now with the delivery. No one at the back post to latch on to that one. Cavalier breathe a sigh of relief.
And that would be mighty disappointing from a Waterhouse perspective because that was very well worked. Not often they've gotten the room and the space on either flank to get that level of crossing, that level of quality crossing. But there was just no one gambling, especially Neran Barrow, after making that pass out wide. He didn't quite see him dart.
No box crash and run.
Yeah. And that's what you really want from your big striker. Yes, it's good that they can drop deep and link play, but after they do that, what's your next action? And that's a dart and really make a nuisance of yourself in the penalty area. He didn't do that on that occasion. Waterhouse looked to build once more.
Here they come. Leacock gets it out wide. Campbell gets it back to Amos. He spreads it further wide. This is Shamari Dallas. I've played a few Sunday afternoon football games with Dallas. Always smiling, the youngster. Here's Donata Thomas. Colorado Murray driving forward. And again, the numbers that Cavalier have put behind and the discipline with which they have maintained that posture. Again, the Achilles heel of Waterhouse. Quick story. Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say that would be difficult for practically any team, and it has been difficult for every team in the Jamaica Premier League throughout the years. That's why they're the two-time reigning champions, looking to do something that only Santos in the very first 4 seasons of the Jamaica Premier League has done so far, and that's win consecutive 3 titles. But
here's the opportunity. Charged down well by Cavalier. They take the throw in quickly. They're really trying to build something. They've really set camp in the Cavalier half. Here's Thomas. Intercepted. He'll need something better than that. Here's Kimali Scott. Always ready to enter in the offensive end of the park is Kimali Scott. Player down for Cavalier off your screen.
It's Christopher Ainsworth.
Good header that from Adrian Reed. He's on the ball here.
Did seem as if that was a bit of an off-ball issue. He's clutching his left knee, which is strapped already. Did mention at the start of the broadcast, Christopher Ainsworth has played the most minutes in the Jamaica Premier League this season.
Yes, you did.
And that's so amazing for an outfield player because there's still quite so many goalkeepers, defenders that don't typically get subbed off. So for Christopher Ainsworth, who's especially this season already playing in a much more advanced area, for him to be playing so many minutes, you could see it as an issue, but he is the Iron Man of the Jamaica Premier League. And he has been so influential, I would say, to Cavalier.
A couple of changes. Daryl Massicott, one of the players removed from a Cavalier perspective. Ainsworth will return. He's happy for that. Milan, one of the players who will enter the fray for Cavalier. Shad San Milan. Dwayne Allen also being withdrawn.
Just have to assume that Dwayne Allen isn't necessarily at his full fitness. Didn't start in the first leg either, Dwayne Allen. But he has already made a huge impact in this game. And Jamoy Dennis, the other one coming on for Massicott. So just fresh legs up front from their perspective.
Doesn't he love to barrel forward, Jamoy Dennis?
Yep.
Tickerman, they call him.
Another very talented young player.
Here he's on the ball. Gets it to Kimali Scott. Ainsworth. Charged down by Leacock. Michael Forbes and Romarian Thomas left on the sideline warming up from a Cavalier perspective. Quite a few, all of 5 players warming up for Waterhouse. They've already made, I think, 3 changes. So not sure which 2 from that lot. Here's Milan. That shot was charged down by Denardo Thomas. It's a throw-in for Cavalier.
And it will be a long one coming in from Adrian Reed Jr.
Here's a throw-in. Headed away by Javane Bryan. Hasn't he been involved? Milan with that shot. Bryan with the clearance again. He's doing everything, Javane Bryan.
So to Giovanni Leng, who raced across to intercept that attempted pass. Bryan back in possession now. Waterhouse win a throw-in.
They take it quickly. They have to do everything quickly. Time, certainly not their best friend at the moment. And that's a forced concession of a corner from a Cavalier perspective. But as you mentioned, Kamar Ricketts headed to Calabar. I remember once seeing him at Stets when he coached with B.B. Coke, and he had a saying on the sideline I never forget. What were they? What were they? I'm not sure if he's still doing that, but it was rather humorous. Here's Kimani Campbell standing behind this corner kick. An in-swinging corner kick for Waterhouse. Kept out, played back in the area. Gordon equal to the task and leads the transitional play of Cavalier now. Leacock did well enough.
Such a silky player is Amani Leacock, and I'm sure he'll be privy to a lot of transfer interest as he's tripped up by Jamoy Dennis. A lot of transfer interest over this summer, but as for now, I'm sure all his focus will be on trying to get back Waterhouse in this game. 30 minutes to go in regular time. 30 minutes for Waterhouse to at minimum get an equalizer in this game to level up the tie.
Throw it for Waterhouse.
And Dean, you know that I'm someone who loves to speak about the tactical intricacies of any football match, but this game at current is just all about defense versus attack. Waterhouse, of course, having 5, sometimes 6 players across that Cavalier back line, but what can you do if Cavalier are defending so deep and denying you space to infiltrate? They can get crosses in, but when Jamar Gordon is in this sort of form, what are you meant to do?
You did mention that you'll certainly need someone who has the skill to pick the lock. Not sure if we'll see the introduction of a trickster in the form of Marius Sims or even Lyle. You did mention those names. Let's see if they'll be able to have any impact if they do come on. But here's Colorado Murray going very direct. Headed away. And further cleared by Akil Henry. Has recovered from that back stinging shot.
Jamar Gordon now needing some assistance.
Or does he?
Yeah. Right up the Cavalier wheelhouse.
Look at the spectators here on hand.
Crowd steadily growing. Of course, the second of our doubleheader begins at 9 p.m. So still a lot of time for everyone to leave work, maybe go home, have a shower. In the case of some people that we know, maybe go home, have a shower, get a drink, and then come to the National Stadium.
Sounds like one of your friends.
Yeah. I won't throw any of them under the bus.
A quick update for all viewers. To watch the remaining Jamaica Premier League semi-final and final matches, you will need to either become a paid member of the official JPL YouTube channel or use the link in the description at jpl.streameai.com to watch the matches. All matches will continue to be broadcasted on Rush Sports 2 in the Caribbean. Here's a throw-in from Waterhouse. Paul gets it to Amos. Leacock. And Dennis in a battle here. Dennis wins. He can barrel forward. Didn't find the pass to Kimali Scott. Leacock won. Cavalier back in possession. Milan, who was absent for quite a while, did just enough to win a throw-in. Cavalier, no earnestness in taking the throw-in, bringing the game to a halt, so to speak, wearing out the patience of Waterhouse and any rhythm they try to gather. Poor pass that from Ainsworth. Chamoy Dennis, part of the national under-20 setup, guilty of that infraction. Here's Commander Campbell for Waterhouse now.
Let's go.
They themselves not having the kind of pace that you definitely need to push the game forward for their own interests. Amos. Leacock. Good defensive coverages from Cavalier. Here's the ball forward. Barrow couldn't hold on to it. Dennis tried the slick pass with Milan. Almost worked in the end. Here's one by Kimali Scott. Can he get the return ball? He does. Kimali Scott trying to go on his bike now. Can't go through two players. Still fighting to keep possession. He does. Here's Ainsworth. Can he find Scott? Scott on the outside. Combines again with Ainsworth. He goes to the byline, tries to get it across. Nobody was crashing the box there at the penalty spot, and that's a routine action that a striker needs to do. Here they come again, Cavalier. Can they put some insurance on this? No, they can't. The policy isn't paid there.
And that's twice now. Jamoy Dennis, obviously still a very young attacker, but twice I see him just loitering at the back post when crosses are coming in instead of making that darting run that you would want your attacker to make. But at the same time, I can never be too critical of attackers in certain instances. I'll get back onto that in a second as Waterhouse on the attack.
They tried to swing it in the area, but blocked and regained by Cavalier. Look at that. Almost bringing the game to a walking pace before making the pass, Christopher Ainsworth. Playing on the instruction.
Yeah. Good instruction as well.
Yeah. Taking the sting out of the Waterhouse attack. Here's Javier Bryan.
Was looking for Kimani Campbell, but he was intercepted.
And Ling boots it long.
And it seems as if we're going to have another change with Bicknell going to make his way on for Waterhouse for Neran Barrow. Interesting change, I'll say.
Very interesting. Rashawn Amos stripped of possession. Here's Dennis. Hasn't been at his best so far, Jamoy Dennis. Here's Waterhouse again. Murray to Thomas. Campbell now. Pokes it forward for Brian. Akil Henry tried to shove him. He gets it in the area. Wins the corner kick, does Waterhouse through the industry of Javane playoff Perry Bryan. Well, make that Neron Barrow.
Yeah, he was about to have his last action before coming off. Can he find his big self in that penalty area to disrupt things for Cavalier? It's Denardo Thomas to whip it in.
Here it comes. It's headed in. Still not cleared. And finally Cavalier are able to squeeze it out. Kimali Scott can't keep it in. Nervous moments. So much tension there.
But think about the number of bodies that Cavalier put on the line there, literally and figuratively, as Kimberly Scott goes forward now.
Here he is. Hasn't been able to win a one-on-one duel so far. He did turn Rashawn Amos to score that equalizer in the first leg, but Amos has really done some homework since Sunday night. Has been able to stifle him so far. What do you make of this Bicknell change, though? What is in the mind of the Waterhouse setup? Here's Kimani Campbell. He needed something better. Waterhouse needed something better.
And I think what he saw there was Jamari Gordon, who went on the floor early. But here's that scramble. Look at the number of Cavalier bodies. I count that 5 to 6 Cavalier players in and around that ball. That's a desperate team. That's a team desperate to win. And to answer your question about this Bicknell change, it's an intriguing one. It is a midfielder for an attacker, yes. But one thing we did mention is that maybe Waterhouse need more of a shifty player right in front of that Cavalier backline. Will there be little space to work in? Yes. But do Waterhouse have the level of quality and the level of player to operate in those tight spaces? Yes. And I think what this will mean is that Denardo Thomas will now start operating a little bit further forward. It will also give Omani Leacock a little bit more range to go forward, as once he's sitting beside Denardo Thomas, he will be the one starting the attacks. So I think now it's going to be more of a committee of 4 players, a diamond of 4 players. The 3 centre backs in Amos, Kavis Paul and Shamari Dallas, with Alexander Bicknell on top. And then everyone else is just all out attack. Leacock being able to drive forward now. Denardo Thomas being able to operate in the pockets, while still having the striking instinct of Colorado Murray and Javier Bryan to call upon.
Haven't seen much action from the right hand of the attack from a Waterhouse perspective. Everything has been centered going left side through Kimani Campbell and company.
Which is a bit disappointing, especially seeing that they have the 1v1 ability. A much more natural winger as opposed to Kimani Campbell on the right-hand side in Cardell
Benbow, yeah. Here they come now. Denardo Thomas on the right-hand side. Gets it in the area. Bryan with that box crash and run. Only crashed into the advertising billboard, though. Here's another look at it.
Excellent pass from Bicknell. And that's what Denardo Thomas will give you, as opposed to maybe a striker who wants to stay on his defender, just dropping off that last line to receive. And it was a good pass. The shot from Javier Bryan blocked off. And it will be Kimani Campbell. Another in-swinging corner for Waterhouse.
As in the first half, they dominated the corner stats. Here's another one for Waterhouse. Heads go up. Headed away by Cavalier, still alive. Jamari Gordon able to mop up any danger. His run being thwarted by Cavalier attacker. But anything to delay proceedings, I'm sure Cavalier won't mind. They have really played this at snail's pace until they're ready for the transitional moment. But here's Denardo Thomas. Swings it in the area. No one there.
And you can hear the frustration from the Waterhouse contingent of fans. Time ticking along, less than 18 minutes to go in regular time for them to find a goal, as Cavalier prepared 2 more changes. A double sub just like what we would have seen in the first leg. Chad James and Michael Forbes being readied.
Here's Bicknell. Bicknell again. His pass to Kimani Campbell cut out. Big clearance that. The aforementioned change. Ready to be made by Cavalier, Michael Forbes, the tall man.
They've delayed on the change to Chad James. I see him now sitting on the bench once more. And it's actually Jamoy Dennis. It's a double substitution for the young man.
That's tough. Tough on his ego. But I think he'll be fine.
Hasn't quite added the impact that Cavalier would have hoped for. But that is another defender now on the park for Cavalier. I believe it's now Christopher Ainsworth that will push a little bit higher up. That's going to be yet another corner coming in for Waterhouse.
The numbers are really piling on for them. Haven't been able to make good. And they do have quite a lot of height on their team.
Yeah, Kavis Paul, Rashawn Amos very good at attacking any delivery. Javier Bryan, Colorado Murray, a very good header of the ball as well.
Here's the delivery.
It was Kavis Paul trying to attack it, but it's repelled once more from Cavalier.
Here's Amos now on the ball for Waterhouse. Ball over the top. Well worked. Here's Donald Thomas. Can he find a delivery? Headed away. Shaquille Henry was the one there. Leacock versus Forbes. Forced wide. And no nonsense clearance from Livingston Donaldson.
All hands to the pump time for Cavalier. It has been for quite some time in this game.
Quarter of an hour left in this one. Can Waterhouse find something? No, they can't.
It was Kavis Paul. And
Here's
hold
the ball.
on.
Here's a moment for Kimali Scott, turning a few players. Even the goalkeeper is there. Couldn't get it on target. He'll want that another time and another time. Dangerous moments. Roger Williams living dangerously. He must have been listening to Barrington Levy.
And I believe the ball was just stuck under Kimali Scott's foot as he was preparing to strike it with his left. Opted to cut onto his right. And Roger Williams, he does often provide a moment of madness in the game. Hopefully for Waterhouse, that's his first and last.
Here's Donato Thomas. Change of pace. Lays it off. Here's an opportunity! Wide! Wow!
Javier Bryan, just the man you would want in a situation like that. So well worked. Look at the bodies. The overload for Waterhouse down that right-hand side. And the former Golden Boot winner, unable to put that one on target, drags it wide. Much to the frustration of the Waterhouse fans and their coaching staff. And I can suspect his teammates as well.
Tension is mounting, you know. Roger Williams living perilously. On both ends, we almost saw goals. Here's Kimali Scott trying to go again. Did well to shield. Rashawn Amos was illegal on that moment. And his act of dissent will be dealt with by a very experienced, no-nonsense official in Danian Parchment.
Yeah, it was always a foul there in my opinion. Always a foul against Rashawn Amos. Kimali Scott doing excellently, and as I always say, if you as an attacking player or any player on the pitch can get yourself in between man and ball and hold it there, you're forcing that defender into a decision. And Rashawn Amos's decision was to commit the foul, and Parchment doing a good job of picking that one up, presenting what could be the best opportunity for Cavalier attacking wise so far in the second half.
Minute number 79. Adrian Reed and Christopher Ainsworth. So very young, these players. but still staples in the Jamaica Premier League. Can you imagine that? It's all left to the number 10, Christopher Ainsworth. Can he work some magic? Ainsworth! Oh, yes! How about that? From the number 10! That's goal number 11! And this could very well be seventh heaven for Cavalier. Their march to another semi-final continues. What a moment, LeJay Williams.
What an absolutely brilliant strike from Christopher Ainsworth. The Jamaica Premier League's Iron Man proves that he has nerves of steel and provides a moment of sterling quality to give Cavalier a 2-goal lead in this game, a 2-goal lead in this tie, and surely book a 6th consecutive spot in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League semi-finals. I will never get tired of looking at a strike like this. Absolutely fantastic.
At any level, at any moment, at any time, that is a worthy match winner. Still 10 minutes left in this one, but it's an uphill task for Waterhouse, who've already not been able to really have any kind of penetration whatsoever. Christopher Ainsworth, he was so nonchalant in stepping forward, but the positioning, the placement, it was almost as if it kissed the V.
Absolutely brilliant. Ridiculous strike from Christopher Ainsworth. And ever since Cavalier would have lost players like Dwayne Busy Atkinson, lost a player like Jamara Calvin, they have needed Christopher Ainsworth to step up and provide a little bit extra. And boy, has he provided in this big moment.
Here they come again, Cavalier. Still pushing forward. Can this be a rout now for them? Ainsworth still on the ball. Can't find Adrian Reed. Leacock, he gave it away. Here's Milan. Ainsworth, can he turn provider now? Or they're just playing around with it now? Training room routine.
And that's going to be a yellow card, I believe, going against Omani Leacock.
Yeah. Frustration, you know.
Yeah. Here's that set piece once more.
Oh, this view will be box office. Oh my. Oh, wow.
Lost for words.
Yeah.
We did find many in the moment.
But with a pause comes the reflective mode that allows you to savor the quality of such a strike.
Fantastic, fantastic goal.
Ball in the area. Michael Forbes with his height was shoving there. Omani Leacock. Chad James sent back to get some more warm. What a moment this is. Final change made for Waterhouse. Omani Leacock withdrawn and Marius Sims, the player who comes on. What do we have in the final 8 minutes or 7 minutes? Kimali Scott can't round Cavis Paul. Amos sends it forward. Javane Bryan has space. Colorado Murray being bodied there. Ball won back by Cavalier. They have stuck to their plan expertly in this encounter. I was about to say in the second half, but really it's been a plan that we saw from the first half. Defensive solidity. Slowing the tempo of the game, taking the sting out of every attack from a Waterhouse perspective. And some more change now being readied from Cavalier as the play is down just off your screen at the moment. That's Kimani Campbell for Waterhouse. What's going through his mind? Christopher Ainsworth, the Iron Man. Let's have a look at his finest moment, his finest contribution. Perhaps it's all of the season. Oh yes. You want to see that over and over again, and this view perhaps the most spectacular. Frame that, put that on Instagram, or perhaps on Snapchat. Do they still use that?
Oh, Dean, earlier in the broadcast you said you were getting a bit old. I think your age is showing a bit. I'm surprised you didn't say Facebook. But here comes a couple more young players for Cavalier coming on.
You did say I'm kind, but perhaps you aren't.
Chad James and Romarion Thomas making their way on. Kimari Scott making his way off as one of the changes. So too Christopher Ainsworth. And based on his production in this game, and to be honest, I'm biased just based on that goal.
It's based on that goal.
Yeah, player of the match for me. If the scoreline is to remain the same, we've seen some amazing comebacks already in these playoffs. Unless we see another and the scoreline remains the same, surely he'll be in the running. Ainsworth getting some immediate treatment. Not even on the bench, beside it.
They know they'll need him for that semi-final matchup should they make the semi-final. James trying to combine together. He seems there. On the back to Waterhouse. Here's Cavalier. No whistle for Waterhouse. Chad James. On the speedster. Here's Miller. Gets the return ball. Get it across. Has another chance though. Pokes it forward. Chad James. Can he turn? Milan is there. It's still alive for Cavalier. Finally, the whistle goes away at Waterhouse. Goes to the relief of the defense.
And I think this performance really sums up why we have seen Cavalier be so successful throughout the, I would say, this decade, since the start of that 2021 shortened COVID season. And what many people might forget, because they've been so successful winning the last 2 Jamaica Premier League titles, they've actually won 3 in this decade. The first coming in 2021 against Houdin.
Waterhouse.
This Waterhouse team. A much closer game on that day. 1-1 that game finished. Cavalier winning 5-4 on penalties. But this now, if this result were to stay the same, of course, 6 consecutive semi-final at minimum appearances for Cavalier in the Jamaica Premier League, and that's unprecedented consistency from them.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to one of my friends earlier in the season when Cavalier was struggling a bit, and I was saying that I know that he isn't as involved as he usually is because of his national team
responsibilities.
Yeah.
Here they come, Waterhouse. Well, that's broken
gonna be
up.
a foul. Yeah, from against Cavalier on Mario Sims. But this is one of the proudest, I would say, just getting this young team, a team with an average age of 20.4 throughout the season.
He actually corrected me on that. He said it's 19.7. But so, yeah, he knows his numbers.
Yeah.
Professionally. Here's an opportunity for Waterhouse. Jamari Gordon says no.
Well, when you have a 16-year-old in goal performing like Jamari Gordon, Kimarley Scott, also close to that age, 16 years old. Romarion Thomas, extremely young, and that's excellent piece of skill. And that's going to be a foul and a yellow card against Kavis Paul.
Frustration, annoyance, so many emotions for these young players for Waterhouse. They really came on strongly in the latter stage of the season. And Kavis Paul said no, no, no.
It also does beg into question now what Waterhouse do going forward. It's only a year contract that they gave, 1 year that they gave to Javier Einstein.
Not the best man to foul in that region, Romarion Thomas. He steps behind it. Can this be a moment? No. I think I saw a deflection, but perhaps that's my parallax error there.
8 minutes added on. Quite a bit of time. A lot of time. Much more time than I was expecting as well. But yeah, Dean, what do you reckon Waterhouse do now? They've improved so much under the guidance of Javier Einstein. Do they keep him on? Their ultimate goal, as practically every team's, is not only to win the league, but importantly as well as that.
Here's an opportunity.
Kavis Paul, it was leaning back and striking that one over the bar. But practically every team wants to cross that hurdle and get into the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup at minimum with a chance to get into the CONCACAF Champions League. That was the aim for Waterhouse. Not accomplishing that, what do they do going forward next season?
Yeah, they were close 2 years ago. Ended up fourth. Arnett Gardens won third place and then went on to the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup that year. But to say the least, the coaching change certainly worked well for them in bringing in Javier Einstein.
No foul there.
Do they follow the national trend and remain local, or go for, or build locally, or do they continue with the Argentine? Let's see. Here's a ball in the area. Good clearance. Benbow, haven't heard him, seen him a lot.
He's fouled. I've actually been reliably informed. It's even more amazing what Cavalier have achieved, because this is actually their 7th consecutive semi-final at minimum appearance in the Jamaica Premier League. Because in 1920, the season, or is it 1819, the season right before the COVID pandemic, they came in third. Coincidentally, they actually beat Waterhouse in that season as well. 2022, they also beat Waterhouse in a third place game by 4-1. So Waterhouse have had their close shavings, but they just can't seem to get over certain humps.
The line, yeah. One of the things that I have to give Einstein credit for is the inclusion in terms of regular minutes for some of the younger players. Berger, Lyle. Of course, a lot of that started prior in terms of Berger's inclusion with Marcel Gale. Roger Williams is as playing as an out-and-out attacker now, taking throws, much to the The laughter of the entire grandstand here.
There's going to be another corner kick. Still around 5 minutes to go in this game. We've seen crazier things in football, Dean.
Haven't we? Two goalkeepers. Here's the delivery. Omarion Thomas trying to do some defending for Cavalier. Boots it forward. Chad James couldn't get the header on. Roger Williams breathes a sigh of relief. Sims to Thomas. Thomas sends it in the area. No header there. Here's shot. Still alive. Charge down. Rigid defending from Cavalier. Booted outfield. Time ticking away. Waterhouse's season winding to a close. More action from Waterhouse. Well, we've been reminded just to have a quick chat once more about the man of the match designate. Christopher Ainsworth has since been substituted, but that wonder strike from the free kick from his cultured left foot, worthy of that acclaim.
Yeah, was very tempted to head the direction of Jamari Gordon, but in reality, he hasn't had too many difficult saves to make.
One snap save, yeah, courtesy of that shot from Javier Einstein. But apart from that, it's been routine saves at this level. Of course, his youth, you would want to be emotional and give him, the plaudits for that. But at this level, you expect those saves to be made.
Javier Bryan caught offside, and Cavalier now inching even closer to that semi-final berth. Yeah, but Christopher Ainsworth will be awarded that Sunshine Snacks Man of the Match prize. Michael Forbes with a booming free kick, and Roger Williams, the first bit of defense there, still yet to go back into.
Here's a shot. Roger Williams did have a hand on that one.
Kept it close to his body though. Close enough at least.
Close enough, yeah. The Jamaican sweeper keeper. Here's the action. Waterhouse still fighting, still trying to get something. But the time ticking, every minute ticking away.
Gio Lane getting that one clear. He's also had a fantastic game, marshalling.
Rebounded well from the first leg.
Certainly has.
Here's the delivery. Beating everyone. Shouts for a penalty there. Any shot on target will be a goal. Omarion Thomas has the opportunity. He's hacked down. But it was clean, says the referee. Bicknell doing the defending there. Adrian Reed giving chase to this one. Goes for the shot! Straight to the keeper. We're in the final minute of the 8 added. Cavalier will be headed to another semi-final. And again, it will be a battle between Xavier Gilbert and Rudolph Speed. That's been a battle we've seen at the semi-final stage for the past 2 seasons. Matter of fact, it's been a battle for the last 3 seasons. Wide of the mark. Symptomatic, emblematic of Waterhouse's fortunes today.
Agonizingly wide, that one. final roll of the dice now for Waterhouse.
This could very well be their 14th corner, you know. What a header! Oh, it would have been box office if Roger Williams had been able to stay that on target. But Cavalier, that's another look at it. They have been Cavalier. They have delivered when it matters most. They snuck in the playoffs, but they have peaked and they have spoken with loud voices. Send Waterhouse back to reconsider for another season. Cavalier, for the 7th time, at least a semi-finalist in the JPL. Goals in either half. Won the industry of Dwayne Allen. Won the brilliance of the man Christopher Ainsworth. They rejoice. The youthfulness of the team. They could very well be popping balloons, you know, from a footballing stance. They're so young. But the wise old fox in Rudolph Speed delivers again at this level. What a moment for Cavalier. Despair again for Waterhouse. Music blares inside the National Stadium. Rejoicing for the youngest professional team in the entire world in the game that we love. The game called football. Full-time score, Waterhouse 0, Cavalier 2. Cavalier advance 4-2 on aggregate to the semi-final of the Jamaica Premier League. Let's have a full look at this matchup. First half, action. Cavalier trying to push forward. Massacott was offside. Kimali Scott laid it on a platter for him. He didn't need it to time his run. More action. Ainsworth going for something spectacular. It was only a foretaste of what was to come. Waterhouse, at this time the score was level. They tried to venture forward. Hacked down was Naren Barrow by Adrian Reed. Make it Godina, the Panamanian, was hacked down by Adrian Reed. Didn't do much from the resulting free kick. Then out of Thomas, the opposite number 10. Too much height on that one. More action. This was a snap save from a snapshot. Roger Williams could have injured himself there, but he was willing to lay it on the line. That one went across the face of goal from Waterhouse. There was also a foul there. Nothing came from it from a Waterhouse perspective. Here's another attempt now. This ball sent to Dwayne Allen. He too was indicating what he was up to. But Donaldson with a lovely ball. Dwayne Allen with the header. Roger Williams laid it on a platter for Dwayne Allen. He missed the match last week. But what a moment to return and render spoils and dividends for Rudolph Speed's men. Waterhouse tried to respond immediately. Look at this shot. Look at Jamari Gordon. What an advert for his talent, the young 17-year-old. Here's another shot from Omani Leacott. Wide of the mark. More action from Waterhouse. They were trying to finish the first half with a flurry, and just a few inches more than Ada Thomas needed to be. Second half action now. They tried to push forward. That shot directly to the keeper. Safe hands. He recovered well from earlier missteps in the first leg. They came again. Waterhouse in the area. Booted away. It was an impressive defensive performance from Cavalier. Waterhouse trying to go forward again. Kimani Campbell here on the ball. Gets it to Barrow. Barrow got the shot off. And Adrian Reed with the deflection. This here we see argy-bargy galore. But nothing for Waterhouse. Look at this. Denada Thomas. Send it in the area. Javane Bryan wish he had something. Living dangerously. Here was Roger Williams. Kimali Scott took a touch. Too many. Couldn't find the finish. Look at this pass from Donato Thomas. Finding the right man. But he didn't have the right angle on that occasion. Wide of the mark. Frustration mounting. More action. Rashawn Amos was in a battle with Kimali Scott all afternoon. That time, finally, a judge to have fouled him. Look at this strike. Oh, yes. Any day, any time, any moment. A strike like that, worthy of a man of the match performance. If he did nothing else, that was enough. 2-0. Cavalier being menacing, but nothing of real benefit. Mario Sims hacked down there. More play forward. Look at this sinister foul from Kavis Paul. That's WWE stuff. That was the nature of the frustration that the Waterhouse players had. And look at the frustration there from Donato Thomas, agonizingly close. Another corner kick. Roger Williams at the death, trying to bring them on target, but nothing there. That's how it ended. Cavalier, 2 goals ahead of Waterhouse. We're standing by for the stats. Cavalier with 43% of the possession. They didn't need the ball. They had 10 shots, 6 on target. Waterhouse had 13 corners. Just lightly I said 14, but I was wrong only by 1. Cavalier at 2. 5 offside, 3 for Cavalier. 3 yellow cards apiece. And 2 goals for Cavalier. That's how they have been able to get the stuff done. Tonight's Jamaica Premier League playoff presentation is proudly brought to you by our valued partners who continue to power the growth of Jamaican football. Special thanks to Ray and Nephew, the official title partner of the Jamaica Premier League. Visit Jamaica, bringing the spirit of Jamaica to the world. We also acknowledge our league partners, CB Foods, Admiral Sports, the Sports Development Foundation, SDF. Club partners supporting our playoff teams include Chemtech, proud partners of Portmore United, Sagicor, partners of Racing United, Fosca Oats, proud partners of Cavalier FC, and Tankwell, proud partners of Waterhouse. We thank all our sponsors and partners for their continued investment in the development of local football and the future of the Jamaica Premier League. A quick update for all viewers watching the remaining Jamaica Premier League semi-final and final matches. You will need to either become a paid member of the official JPL YouTube channel or use the link in the description at jpl.streameai.com. That's jpl.streameai.com to stream the matches. All matches will continue to be broadcasted on Rush Sports 2 in the Caribbean. Dean Smith alongside me with Leje Williams. That's how we wrap it up from the quarterfinal second leg matchup between Waterhouse and Cavalier. Cavalier will face Mabay in the semi-final.
Hi there, me knee. Mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb, Fosca Oats is ingrained in Jamaica.
I save from VM Building Society. Every deposit got me here. Every step forward put me in the driver's seat.
For everything you're looking forward to, open an iSave account today. Visit gotomyvm.com to get started.
Every $25,000 you save with iSave earns an entry to win cash or a new home of your own. The more you save, the more entries you get, and every entry has a chance to win a brand new home of your own. VM iSave is the key to winning.
Here's to the early risers, and we are here all-nighters, the go, the extra milers, and let's do it until it works, workers. People who are powerful. because they powered through day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power is not something you can buy or collect. It's something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snacks Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Ray and Never, feel we culture. Yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it.
I make we all a one bar, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel we country. Rear rum, it have to come with we.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time.
I feel we culture. Make we show ya Jamaican culture.
Ray and Never, overproof from we just a do it for we culture.